Hello Internet and welcome. Today we're taking a look at the Radeon HD 6870, a GPU from 2010, a time when Elon Musk and SpaceX became the first private company to lob a spacecraft into orbit and bring it back in one piece. And Apple unveiled the first iPad, which everyone pretended they didn't need and then promptly bought them anyway. We're throwing this classic card into a seriously modern setup. An i9-13900K, a Z790 motherboard and 64GB of DDR5 RAM. So, buckle up, smash that like button and let's find out what made this GPU a true legend. But first, let's check out the specs of this old relic. The Radeon HD 6870 is based on AMD's Bart's XT architecture. It comes with 1120 stream processors and a core clock speed of 900 MHz. It packs 56 texture units, 32 ROPs and 1GB of GDDR5 VRAM on a 256-bit bus, giving a total memory bandwidth of 134.4 GB per second, all running on a PCIe 2.0x16 interface, and requires two 6-pin power connectors and additionally has a TDP of 151 watts. Feature-wise, the HD 6870 is limited by today's standards, but it does support DirectX 11 at feature level 11.1, as well as OpenGL 4.1 and OpenCL 1.2. The first game today is Half-Life 2 running at 1080p resolution on the very high preset, with motion blur disabled, classic effects enabled and 4x MSA enabled. Half-Life 2 was released in 2004, launching first on Windows and quickly becoming one of the most influential PC games ever made. Its impact was so significant that Valve later brought it to a wider range of platforms. The original Xbox in 2005, the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 as part of the Orange Box in 2007. It also came out for the Mac operating system X in 2010 and finally Linux in 2013. The Radeon HD 6870 launched in October of 2010 as part of AMD's HD 6000 series. It had an MSRP of $239 in the US and was priced at around £200 in the UK. It offered impressive performance for its price point and quickly became a favourite among gamers seeking to play modern titles at high settings without investing in top-tier hardware. The HD 6870 helped push PC gaming forward with better performance and higher resolutions compared to the previous generation graphics cards at the time. In Half-Life 2, the Radeon HD 6870 achieves an average of 231 FPS, with a 1% low of 140 FPS and a 0.1% low of 117 FPS. Next is Grand Theft Auto 5 Legacy Edition at 1080p, using the normal graphics preset with FXAA enabled and running on the DirectX 11 API. The HD 6870 is well past its prime by modern standards. I paid about £14, which is roughly about $18 from eBay Marketplace, and honestly, it wasn't even worth that. It lacks support for modern features such as ray tracing, advanced upscaling like DLSS and FSR 2 and 3, newer shader models, and the latest graphic APIs needed for a lot of games today. At this point, the only practical way to future-proof a system with this card is to replace it with a more modern GPU that supports today's features. In truth, the HD 6870 is now best suited for older titles, or as simply a display output. In terms of performance, the HD 6870 delivers an average of 72 FPS, with a 1% low of 51 FPS and a 0.1% low of 30 FPS. Right, now here's a quick word from our sponsor. The online marketplace for CD keys and software. G2A.com, where you can find discounts on all the keys you need. Next up is Fallout 4 running at 1080p with high settings. Motion blur is disabled, depth of field set to bokeh and TAA is also enabled. Don't let the age of the HD 6870 fool you. It still packs a punch for retro gaming enthusiasts. While modern AAA titles are simply out of the question, this classic card can actually handle games from about 2010 to 2013, with surprising performance on medium to high settings. And where it really shines is in emulation. PlayStation 2 games, GameCube, and Wii classics run beautifully, letting you dive into a treasure trove of retro favourites. With the right lineup of games, the HD 6870 proves that sometimes old hardware can still deliver a seriously fun experience. As for newer games like Fallout 4, performance isn't amazing. You can expect around 30 FPS, which is not ideal. But considering the age of this card, the fact that it runs the game at all is quite impressive. In this configuration, the HD 6870 delivers an average of 32 FPS, with a 1% low of 21 FPS and a 0.1% low of 15 FPS. Next up is Borderlands 2, running at 1080p with high graphics settings, depth of field is switched off, and FXAA is enabled. With the new Steam machine just around the corner, it got me thinking, could I put together a Steam machine of my own? The forthcoming hardware is all about offering a console-style PC gaming experience, complete with a living room-friendly type interface, Steam OS support, and instant access to your entire Steam library. So, building my own Steam machine could be a rather fun little project, by using hardware that many people still have lying around today, instead of components capable of running all the latest AAA titles. I'd reckon I'd aim it more towards older games instead. On the HD 6870, Borderlands 2 averages 64 FPS, with a 1% low of 45 FPS and a 0.1% low of 23 FPS. The final game is Rocket League, running at 1080p resolution with the high graphics preset. Motion blur and depth of field are disabled, and FXAA is set to high. In terms of performance, the HD 6870 manages an average of 47 FPS, a 1% low of 15 FPS, and a 0.1% low of 14 FPS. So, can a cheap Radeon 6870 still game in 2025? Well, not really. The 1GB of VRAM is a serious bottleneck today. But despite it being over a decade old, the HD 6870 remains a fascinating piece of hardware history. It does lack modern features like ray tracing, DLSS, FSR support and updated shader models, yet it shows that older GPUs can still be useful, particularly for retro gaming and emulation, or for running classics from the early 2010 era. For anyone wanting to play AAA games on this thing with high settings, however, a more modern GPU is essential. So, ultimately, the Radeon HD 6870 serves as a reminder of a pivotal era in PC gaming, a card that defined high-performance gaming over a decade ago, and still manages to provide a nostalgic, playable experience today. Thank you for watching Tech Tactics. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane with the Radeon HD 6870, then don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tech fun. I'm David James, and I hope to see you in the next one.